Listen to us boring middle-aged motherfuckers.
This is what excites middle-aged white people. Home repair.
Yeah, get yourself a eye repair kit. That'll definitely, you'll find some screws there. Jesus, this is what we are now. We just have to own it.
Uh-huh.
Okay, welcome to the home repair getting off topic podcast,
I
everybody.
told you I became a middle-aged white man, and I suddenly had to buy a set of golf clubs.
Oh my god. Oh, hey everybody, welcome to the Getting Off Topic podcast. This is Tony.
This is Todd.
Andrew is not joining this week. I spoke to him earlier, see if he wanted to keep joining in, but this week he's actually, well, he's getting some shut-eye because they're going out to a camping trip tomorrow morning, bright ass early at like 4 a.m. He's got to get up. So, so I was like,
That's how camping do.
yeah, well, that'll be fun. And Meg is still in Memphis. She went out there and surprised her mom for the week, staying out there, and she'll be back on Wednesday. Once again, happy birthday to my lovely wife, who is 29 for the sixth year in a row. Now she's an August 6th baby, so 35 years for her. Also is very, very happy that she celebrates alongside Lucille Ball, one of her idols. And also, one of the headlines that I happened to notice this week is Metroid. The 35th anniversary of the very first Metroid is actually on Meg's birthday, August 6th.
Nice.
Yeah, so there's a little Nintendo celebration for that. But yeah, so we'll have to do some fun birthday stuff when she gets back. In the meantime,
I've been know when you have a weekend free. I know you guys' calendar is pretty full, but we need another dinner get together.
Another dinner and Mortal Kombat club tracks.
That CD is still in my car. I don't want to touch it. It's cursed.
Oh, you know you love it now. You just play it on repeat.
No, I haven't played it at all. It's just still in there, and it reminds me, CD in deck.
You're just like, don't go down that road. Tiny Ninja Warrior, Sub-Zero.
I'll just put on track 5 and put that on repeat.
Mm,
The only actual good track on there is the original Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, for sure. Thank God it at least says that. Yeah, we'll figure out something. In the meantime, I've just been living my exciting bachelor life.
Have you done anything?
Just fucking working like always, working my stupid ass overtime, and got back to playing some Doom, which is nice. Still working on that DLC. Watched a few cool things, which we will talk about shortly here, and that's pretty much fucking it. I'm a recluse.
Turning into me.
Hey, I'm happy as a clam at home. Yeah, I go out occasionally for my breaks and stuff and get some sun, say hi to the the last family of ducks finally left the complex here. It looks like I haven't seen them for a few days.
They'll be back in a couple of months.
Yeah, we have a shitload of turtles though, and somebody has to be feeding them because I feel bad because they're super friendly. Like every time I come up to the little man-made ponds up here, if there's any turtles in the water, they'll come scurrying up to me like they're expecting like food. So somebody's probably been sprinkling some turtle feed or something in there, and I feel bad because I'm like, bro, I'm sorry, I don't have anything.
You don't have any pizza to give to the turtles. Jesus.
I know. I'll stop by tomorrow's my day off. I'm gonna stop by the pet store and see if I can find some little goodies to throw at them. Yeah. How about you? What's your week been like?
Sitting inside playing video games, not seeing the sun at all.
Sounds like bliss. What are you playing this week?
So I've actually been playing Apex Legends. It's a battle royale shooting game. I'm a couple of years behind the trend, but it's a game for Zoomers, and I'm definitely not a Zoomer. I can shoot with the best of them, but like all the looting and the other stuff, the movement aspects of it. Did you ever play Titanfall? I think that's a multiplayer, so you probably wouldn't have played that either.
Yeah, I know. I saw a bit of the footage, but I never got into it.
The very much like movement-based shooter, rather than just seeing somebody standing still and shooting at them, like
Hmm.
you're moving around, jumping, doing all kinds of crazy shit.
Hmm. Oh, cool.
Yep. And then my typical usuals, Dota, Total War, Warhammer, all that good stuff.
Hammer. Nice. Uh, Watched a lot of cool shit this past week. So before Meg took off, one of the last things we watched together was, excuse me, the final Fear Street movie,
Nice.
1666 or whatever it is, 16 something. Um, and actually, so last time Meg and I were talking to the podcast and we are kind of lackluster on the whole Fear Street series. We're like, it's fine. Yeah, it's kind of like horror light, kind of sanitized. I mean,
Yeah.
like there's a few cool like deaths and whatever, a few cool fun parts, but for the most part, we're like, well, the first one was really just nostalgia, so points to that, and then the second one didn't really hold up as much. It was just like, well, this is a kind of a dull slasher. Um, then we watched the third one, and it actually finished so strong, it made the whole piece really good. Like
Nice.
the whole story ties together, and the way they ended it was really rad. I Yeah, it was just really good. Like I felt bad for trashing it last time because then I turned around, had to eat my words. Like we both of us, Meg and I, were like, wow, that was really fucking good. So, yeah, Tony and Meg approved. Go check out the Fear Street trilogy on Netflix if you haven't yet. It's a fun time. Um, Gillian, I don't know if it's Jillian or Gillian Jacobs. It was Britta on Community for the Community fans. She's a big role in part three, and she's really cool in it. Yeah, it was well done and inventive. Once they uh, pull all the plot threads together with all the witch lore and the curse and whatever, and things started to make more sense. It became really like, oh, this is a really inventive and cool story. I don't know if it's like a beat for beat like direct adaptation from the books or if it's just like loosely adapted. I don't know. I never read them, but
I read them once when I was in the middle of my Goosebumps phase as a kid, and I don't remember at all.
oh, okay. And there was a little story interview with the producer or director of the thing. I don't remember their name, but now having seen how it ends and little end end credits um scenes, like little bonus scenes and stuff, it lends itself to being a continued universe. Like this chapter is kind of over, but the director of the whole thing said they would really love if they get the thumbs up to, like, they could potentially expand this into
Like
more.
another trilogy or a show or something.
Yeah, new characters to focus on and like new killers or curses or whatever. um,
Nice.
yeah, it's good stuff. So Meg and I checked that out. Then I, on my own, checked out Kevin Smith's Masters of the Universe Revelation. And I think I messaged you or texted you the after I binged them all. I was like, holy shit, I guess I'm a Masters of the Universe fan now.
Yep.
So spoilers, guys, if you haven't checked that out yet, I recommend it. It's only 5 30-minute episodes so
Yeah, you can get it
far.
done real quick.
Get it in real, but yeah, I watched the first one night, and then like a day or two later, I just binged them all in the morning back to back, and hot damn, like it is just a fucking fun blast from the past.
Yeah.
Um, just like high 80s, colorful, high fantasy. And I think that's one of the things I love most about it is that this isn't, when you hear about some old property, especially like a silly one, like a cartoon show from the 80s that was really just made to sell toys, with a half-baked plot of just, oh, here's a skeleton guy, meh, he's causing some shit today, and then He-Man here, like ridiculously giant dude comes and stops him, and that's how it goes week to week. I'll get you next time, and the
And
end.
there's always like a fable kind of message at the end. There's always some
Oh,
good
some public service
theme.
announcement. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was that whole push through the 80s and early 90s of like, hey kids, don't do drugs and recycle and listen to your parents and all
all
that
that good
stuff.
stuff.
Yeah. The whole have you ever sorry, I'm gonna sidetrack really quick, but have you ever heard the Hulkamania song? I forget, I don't remember the proper title to it. It's like Hulkamaniac or
I believe I have. I'm
uh,
probably blocking it from my memory right now.
I only remember a tiny bit of the actual words, but like the chorus is like a bunch of people. I wanna be a Hulkamaniac, have fun with my family and friends, like that kind of shit. Like, and then I think at some point, like Hulk Hogan does like a little like a white dude rap, like like always respect your family and neighbors and blah 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 blah. Oh god, the 80s is so weird. Anyway, so so what I love about this, I love a lot about this show, but when you hear, usually we're conditioned at this point, whenever we hear that an old silly property like this is getting remade, revamped, rebooted, whatever, however they want to word it, we usually know what to expect. It's going to be some like kind of darker, more serious, gritty reboot or something like that, modernized, et cetera, et cetera. This said, fuck no. This is a direct continuation of the existing property. And we're not like dark knighting this shit up. Kevin Smith is like, no, this is colorful, balls to the walls, like 80s ridiculous high fantasy with ridiculously muscled chest with 1,000 abs and, He-Man. But they do also, these are modern storytellers, like modern writers in the writers' room telling a um
A continuous story rather than a series of one-offs.
yeah, and they're not, like I said, they're not replacing or retooling the existing universe. They're just very intelligently building on it and expanding on the lore and everything that's already there, but it's still like the same wacky colorful world. When I first started that first episode and like all of the bad guys are like rushing Castle Grayskull, like they're invading, and you see it's like holy shit, because again, we had this conversation, like I've never actually watched the show. Like, of course, I'm aware of it tangentially. And I was always, when I was that age, it was all Ghostbuster, the real Ghostbusters and the Ninja Turtles cartoon. That was all me. And I kind of skipped over G.I. Joe and He-Man. I was aware of them, maybe saw little bits, but I never really watched it. But watching this first episode of Revelation, and they're all fucking invading, and it's just, you see that, oh, these are action figures. Like, this is just Kevin Smith taking every favorite action figure of his and just mashing them together, because every bad guy has some ridiculously colorful outfit, a very signature look that was, of course, like designed from a toy,
And
a
they're all
signature.
unique. They're all
Yeah.
unique. None of them are similar. They don't like have the foot type generic foot soldier. They're
Yeah.
all unique.
Yeah, they're all very unique and outlandish, have a unique like weapon and like a name and whatever. And the world itself is this very crazy like mishmash, because there's the high fantasy stuff where there's like monsters and creatures and swords and sandals type shit, and at the same time you have like laser rifles and like big giant like laser cannon vehicles and shit. It's just like they threw everything at the wall.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I saw those opening moments and I'm like, oh man, for a second I was like, maybe this is not for me. Maybe this is too ridiculous, even for me. And I like some silly shit. Like maybe this is for like kids, or like you would have to be a diehard fan of the OG series to get it. But no, I was very quickly proven wrong because it just got me. Like it's just fun, just unabashed 80s high fan. Sorry, I'm repeating myself over and over again. Even down to like the music choice when all those battle scenes are happening. Bear McCreary is the composer who, if you're not familiar with him, he's done a shitload of stuff now. He's very popular. The first thing I remember him from is the Battlestar Galactica reboot series, which was fantastic. He also did the Stars Pirate one, Black Sails, which is amazing. And all of his themes and like battle music and stuff, you can tell the guy is a metalhead. And if you follow him online, he is a hardcore metalhead. So
he definitely brought the heavy metal vibes from the 80s.
Yeah. You get the very like when the title cards come up, you get the orchestral big hero themes. But then once the battle starts, you're like, oh shit, that's some fucking power metal guitar going on in the background. And that's just the feeling you get through this whole show. It's just like it's a big love for the OG series. It's not trying to retool or revamp anything. It's just nope, we're just carrying on with the show. And there was the big backlash from a lot of, I guess, Uber fanboys from back in the day, or just angry people who want to be angry.
Yeah, I think it's more the angry people. I wouldn't call it the Uber fanboys that were super pissed off. Yeah. The Uber fanboys that also happen to be the angry bro, anti-SJW, Proud Boy type people, that kind of crossover is a little bit there, but I would say the majority of the fans are happy with it. Yeah. If they actually watched the show rather than stopping after the first episode and crying on Twitter.
Yeah. So we're obviously going to be talking, straight out spoilers here. So end of the first episode, the big twist comes, the big battle takes place. Prince Adam, this is how removed I was from the show. I didn't even know that he lived this double life. I thought He-Man was just He-Man, but no, the story is it's kind of like a Shazam situation. Like Prince Adam is this little scrawny teen, like he's royalty. He's this little like seemingly sheltered teenage kid living in what's the name of their world again?
Eternia.
Yeah. They're like he's Eternian royalty with the king and queen mother and everything. And he gets the like psychic message from the sorceress protecting Castle Grayskull, like Adam, we need you, blah blah blah, Skeletor and his minions are coming. And so he says the magic words and the sword, and I have the power, and boom, he's He-Man, which is just basically a pro wrestler. Basically just 80s pro wrestler.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah,
all roided out.
Yeah. So he comes to save the day and everything's going great. He has his trusted friend, and I don't know if you'd call her sidekick, but partner, warrior woman, Teela, who she is from the original show as well. And they're going, oh yeah, in the beginning of the episode, she's like getting knighted or being announced as
Master of Arms.
Master of Arms, being promoted to Master of Arms for the castle and kingdom and everything. So it's like, boom, time to go to war. We're going to war. Like right now, episode 1, they get there to Castle Grayskull, shit goes sideways, and essentially Skeletor kind of suicide wins, tricks Adam or He-Man into using the Sword of Power, I think it was, to unlock the power of Castle Grayskull. And the way they set it up, essentially, it's like, oh, the blast that is about to occur, and the sorceress like freezes time for a moment, like she only has seconds to hold back this like universe-ending explosion. And they find a way to divert the power into his sword, but it's going to basically annihilate him. And he's like, well, we got to do it because it's me or the entire universe. So Skeletor and He-Man get wiped out. End of episode 1. And so of course everybody freaks out. Like, the fuck?
Did you just kill He-Man?
Yeah,
What?
the hero of the show? What? And then they use this device to carry on with Tila. One of the limitations, I guess you could say, of the writing in the old show in the 80s, very commonplace. Now it's like hacky, where the superhero leads the double life, and he doesn't even tell his like best friends. And that was very much the case in Masters of the Universe in the original He-Man show. Tila, was best friends with Prince Adam, as well as like always fought alongside He-Man. So she knew both of them and was close as can be. And he chose never to reveal his secret to her.
And there's literally only 2 people in like the inner circle of this universe that don't know. It's his father and Tila. They're the only 2 people that don't fucking know the secret.
Mm-hmm. So he dies, and it's a really amazing epic scene where you see him basically being reduced to his natural form as like the life is getting sucked out of him, basically. And that's in those final moments, in his death moments, that's when she discovers, like, holy shit, Adam. And so she has a great, like, when people bring it up later in the later episodes, she has a great, like, I can't use words right now. She has a great speech about her, kind of, she's yelling about how, like, she didn't even get to like mourn her friend because she was just like so betrayed and hurt. She's like, why? Like, what? There was no reason to not tell me this, and blah 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 blah. So after that, like, okay, Skeletor is defeated, but He-Man is dead. The world is safe, but they're also in mourning, blah blah blah. And Tila, feeling so betrayed, like, nobody fucking told me this. She's just like done. She's like, fuck all y'all, fuck the kingdom, fuck you, king and queen, fuck Adam too for lying to me this entire time. Fuck magic, fuck everything. I'm out. Middle finger, double middle fingers out the door. And that's how the episode ends. You're like, holy shit. And then come episode 2, of course, some time has passed, and she's
10
just
years later or something.
Yeah, she's just like a traveling mercenary kind of, or adventurer. Has a friend of her own, which I'm forgetting her name right now. But another.
She's the audience stand-in character.
Yeah. She doesn't have any special powers or anything. She's kind of
She's
another.
good with tech.
Yeah, kind of a warrior with training. She's badass in her own right. But a good sidekick to Tila. And it just becomes Tila's journey from this point out. And spoilers, of course, eventually we circle back around to Adam in the afterlife. I'm skipping a lot. I can't review the whole fucking thing, but
the story basically is magic is gone from the universe, and people are using tech and exploiting people, and they need to bring Adam back, otherwise the world is going to end.
All right,
they don't need to bring Adam back, they need to bring the power sword back specifically.
Right, because Eternia itself, I think the sorceress and Grayskull, that's how she pulls Tila back into this world. She's like, look, the whole world's gonna end. Like, this whole world was created with magic, and that magic is dying. Like, it's at the last burning embers. If it goes out, like, basically all of our existence is gone. So
they need to recreate the power sword so the power sword can focus the magic and bring magic back to Eternia. So they discover that the power sword has been
split into two.
Yeah. One's in hell, one's in heaven, the equivalents basically. Yeah. And they have to go to retrieve both swords and then reforge them anew. So they gather a merry bunch of has-beens, and they travel to hell, and they travel to heaven.
Ooh. Including Skeletor's right-hand evil sorceress. This is the silliness of here. The evil sorceress, who is Skeletor's right-hand lady, her name is Evil Lynn. as in Evelyn, but Evil Lynn. They don't bother to reboot that in Dark Knight. That shit, like, no, her fucking name is Evil Lynn.
But
Deal with it.
they joke about it a few times, and they even when they have a heartfelt moment with her and Orky,
Yeah,
uh, she says, "Yes, I added it later."
yeah. I wasn't born Evil Lynn. Yeah, I wasn't named that at birth. Yeah, I
By
added
the
it
way,
later.
she was the standout of the show to me.
Yeah,
Evelyn
played.
was my favorite character.
Yes, played brilliantly by Lena Headey, who of course Cersei Lannister fame. They even had. Did you watch the after show?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they had a lot of quick little interviews with all the voice cast and everything, which is great. And they were joking with her, like Kevin Smith's like, "So this is new for you, like swords and fantasy stuff, right?" She's like, "Yeah, yeah." Never tried. He's like, do you even get like calls for regular like a rom com or something?" She's like, "No, not at all." She's like, "If there's a
It's got a
dragon in it,
dragon in it.
they call me." Yeah. But yeah, she is a fucking blast. Tila, of course, played by Sarah Michelle Gellar. Um, who else? There were some surprising ones in there. Oh, the
Mr. Onion Knight himself.
yes, Sir Davos, Liam Cunningham, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The OG He-Man actor, voice actor. He was the Tree Man or Moss
Mossman.
Man.
Yeah, he was the original. I think he was the original Skeletor,
Yeah, the
actually.
original Skeletor.
Yeah, because
Sorry.
he was talking about how he found the yeah voice and everything. Alan Oppenheimer, I think.
Yes.
Um, yeah, he's man, he's old as dirt, but yeah, he still got
Mhm.
it.
Kevin
uh,
Smith, of course, had to put his daughter in there, so she was one of the voices.
oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of the bit
Yeah.
parts.
Oh, Jason Mewes, also a bit part. He was like the stink guy, stink man or
Yeah.
something. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, one more. The Dark Knight himself. Kevin Conroy. He did a
Oh
quick
yeah,
bit
yeah.
part. He was the ocean dude. I forget what his name was.
The
Anyway,
merman.
Merman. Yeah, he's the leader of like the Mer dudes. He was in
I
there
think his name is literally Merman.
literally merman. Yeah, this show is very literal. But yeah, probably my favorites: Lena Headey and Liam Cunningham as the master at arms. That the second I heard him talking, like, oh, that sweet old kind-hearted man. It's that old like. He's an old badass, but he's also like wears his heart on his sleeve. It's like I love that man's voice. He's so good.
Yeah, plays
Uh,
it perfectly. It's the type of voice that you know he's going to be heroic, but he's probably going to die a tragic death
Probably, yeah.
in sacrifice to the main heroes.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, speaking of, then eventually we get to, man, this whole episode is going to be all about Master of the Universe.
Yeah.
Then the shocker again, they didn't kill He-Man once, they killed him twice. Or potentially. It could be a cliffhanger. I think he'll probably
I
live.
think it's a cliffhanger because like it is still this is the big controversy on Twitter is it's a Masters of the Universe show, and Kevin Smith said multiple times it's a He-Man story.
Mhm.
So I think he's going to survive, obviously, and it's going to be his redemption and his road back to becoming He-Man in part two.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they've given this nice long journey for Tila. She doesn't have to get sidelined at this point. I think it'll still be a lot of her story, as you know, he probably recovers from this like seemingly mortal wound. Um, but I mean, he's already
Though
come
if
back from paradise. So if they
Yeah,
just
though if they do
off him
kill
again,
him, yeah, if they do off him again, he's done for good. He doesn't get to go back to paradise. Like
yeah,
they explained in while they were in paradise, if you die, you don't get to come back here and live as Adam or He-Man again. You get to come back here and live as dirt or a
yeah,
tree.
yeah, you're mulch as the mortals go. Yeah, you don't get your great reward. And they did a great job at making Skeletor a worthy villain, not just a bumbling, yeah, bumbling fool with that shocker. Like he doesn't just kill him once, he kills him twice, or potentially kills him twice. But
Yeah, that spear through He-Man at this that one actually did shock me. I got to admit that was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like the first time they killed him, I was like, all right, okay, I can see that happening. But then that spear, oof.
Yeah. And Evil Lynn, I'm sure she'll circle back around to the good guys again. We've
Yeah,
seen this story before. The reformed bad guy then, spends some time with the good guys out of necessity because they're all trying to restore magic to save everything. And the heart to hearts and character building and all that. And of course, but in the final moments of episode 5, bad boyfriend is back, and there's that moment where she pauses, like Skeletor's back there. It's like, no, don't go back to your bad boyfriend, but of course you're going to.
she has a great line. It's like, oh, I was just starting to like you guys, or something like that.
Uh-huh. There's some like pity. I was just starting to like it. Very, very Cersei, just like her as she's had her little journey, but she's not quite reformed yet. And bad boyfriend's back, and she just puts on the face again, gets nose goes up in the air and pity. But yeah. But yeah, I'm just hey man, it is just
It was
good
good.
fucking times. Yeah.
It was good. It was definitely a good animated show.
Yeah. Highly recommend that for anybody for just a just balls to the walls fun, whether you
And
watch the original series or not.
and also, if you're on Netflix, check out Castlevania. I've been waiting to watch the final season because I know it's the final season.
Mhm.
So I've been savoring it and just watching an episode here and there rather than binging the whole fucking thing. It is so fucking good.
Yeah, I
If you haven't
remember.
watched Castlevania, watch it.
I think I only watched the first season when it first aired, and it was only like 4 episodes,
Yeah.
the very first part that they released, and then it took so long for them to release more that I forgot all about it. So and now, if it's all out now, I'll binge it.
Yeah, I think they might have a movie or something coming later, but the series is done. They said that they're done with the series.
Hmm.
This was the
Uh,
final season.
I think we talked about before in previous episodes that they were potentially doing, or it might be solidified they're doing other like spin-off series as well.
Yeah, I think there's going to be I don't remember if it was Alucard or somebody else, but there's going to be a spin-off.
Okay. All right.
But this story is complete as of the end of the season.
Okay. Cool. The other major one that we watched this week, Suicide Squad. James Gunn's The Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad. So
I'm just going
initial
to say this is the only Suicide Squad. There was a Birds of Prey movie that was okay, but the Suicide Squad movie started here.
Oh, Birds of Prey was good times. So surprisingly enough, well, Meg's not here to share her review, so we already talked about it earlier. I think she sent me text. She watched it first, and she's like, "I'm not going to say anything till you watch it. I want you to have your opinions, and then I'll lay mine down." So she was not as impressed as she thought she was going to be.
Really?
Yeah, so I'll just read the text she sent earlier. Again, she's in Memphis at her mom's house. So I think my mom's audio on her TV was messed up because I felt like there was basically no music at the beginning, which, yeah, was probably some audio issue. I was playing with settings later on. It sounded better in the last quarter of the movie. So not sure if my lack of interest was because of that. Also, I felt like most of the movie was very disjointed, especially because there was 2 groups you had to pay attention to, and I didn't like that. Giant starfish was pretty ridiculous too. Lastly, I felt the timing was off. Like the obvious comedy moments or lines just fell flat to me. I didn't laugh. I didn't find it funny, or maybe they showed all the funny parts in the trailers so much that it lost its luster by the time I watched it. Oh, and they killed all the people I wanted to see in the first fucking 10 minutes. I hated that. So she actually enjoyed. Now Meg and I, we talked about, we're one of the few that we legitimately enjoyed the previous Suicide Squad movie. It's not perfect by a long shot, but we actually were entertained by it. But at this point, she said that she actually prefers the David Ayer. Was
Blasphemy.
it
Even
2016,
he
2017?
even he doesn't like that film.
Oh yeah,
Like
he's been clamoring to get his cut, just like the Snyder cut got released. But yeah, so I surprisingly agreed with her on some points. Maybe it was like too much hype building it for it to be this amazing thing after so long we've been waiting for this, but I found myself for some reason in the first third of the movie, a lot of the comedic bits were like falling flat for me, and I was like, huh. I was like, okay, let me keep watching, but like I barely like chuckled. I was like, okay, that was supposed to be funny, or maybe it's just gotten to the point where like I know James Gunn's shtick long enough, kind of like we got so far into like Tim Burton where we're like we're not impressed by no matter how many stripes and skeletons you throw at the screen anymore. Like James Gunn's little quirky comedy, like maybe, oh my God, am I over it? I don't know. Maybe I'm waiting for more Guardians of the Galaxy, and this is kind of like meh in the meantime. I don't know. But that went for about the first third of the movie, but I was like, I'm gonna keep watching, whatever. I wasn't judging anything yet. And I gotta say, like, I know why they did it story wise. The shocker, everybody that you were wanting to see fucking dies. That really bummed me out. It's like, I know why you're doing this, but oh man, like I wish you would have at least keep Flula and Nathan Fillion. Come on. Like that feels like such a waste to me. But whatever. And then, they started backtracking to how the official team, gets their mission and everything, and Idris Elba and all them. And I was just kind of like, I don't care about these guys. Like I don't really care about these guys. But by about the halfway point, they grew on me, and then I had a great time. I was like it just flipped. I was like, oh, spend enough time with these guys, good times. Ratcatcher 2,
This is the
fantastic.
heart of the film.
She's the heart of the film, absolutely.
Her and was it Remy or no, not Remy. That would be too on the nose.
Huh.
What was the name of the rat?
Sebastian.
Sebastian.
I love that fucking
Sebastian.
little rat. And I love that Idris Elba's character is terrified of rats. That was great. I love that Idris Elba was doing good comedy here. We're so used to him being so serious and everything. Even if he's done like comedic bits, like in The Office, or he had a small stint in The Office there, he's always playing like the very straight man. And in this, he still is, because he's trying to act like this hardened criminal. But then he has some fucking hilarious moments, like being terrified of rats, just cowering.
There's a scene in the amazing, like going through the rebel camp scene, where him and John Cena are trying to one up each other with kills.
Yes.
And
I think
then
that's where the movie really won me over. That's when I started giving like, oh shit, this is great.
yeah, John Cena does a kill with like exploding bullets or something. Like he shoots the guy and then he's like, wait, and then the guy blows up.
Yeah.
And then Idris Elba's character says, nobody likes to show off. And then John Cena says, yeah, but when you're showing off of something that fucking cool or something
Oh
like
yeah.
that.
Unless what you're showing off is dope as fuck.
Yeah.
Idris Elba, like with the stern face, he turns around like, fuck. I'm like, damn it, he's right. Like that's
it was
true.
dope as fuck.
Yeah. Just a little like shit like that is just great. And then they get to the hut where they're trying to rescue Colonel Flag. He's there having tea with the rebels. So like we thought this was the like enemy base, the army base, and it's actually the rebellion against the big bad guys, and they just slaughtered their whole encampment. How'd you get past all my men?
Their backup.
Yeah, how'd you get past all my men? They didn't sound the alarm. Oh, I didn't see any men. We must have missed them. Great. As King Shark, played by Stallone, like coughs up like I think it was a ring finger or something off of one of the men. He was a fun choice. I wasn't too keen on him so far, probably because of the brilliant Harley Quinn cartoon series that we know and love. And it's like, oh, King Shark is Ron Funches to me. Like, and they're doing it as Stallone as this kind of big simpleton sort of dude. And it didn't catch on for me first, but again, around a half point of the movie, everything started to really warm up for me. And
Don't eat friend.
Yeah, don't eat friend. And you feel bad for him when he's wanting to be a part of the mission, and they're like, no, you can't put on a fake mustache and get away with it. Like, go sit in the van. Yeah, he's just
holding up his fin to his face.
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah, it's like, we still know it's you. Ah, fuck.
Him just sitting there crying. Oh, so sad.
Yeah. Every Margot Robbie, great as usual as Harley.
The best action sequence in the film, hands down, was her escape.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Her escape from the army base or whatever
Yeah,
the
that was
general's deal.
hands down the best scene of the movie. I
Yeah.
would say.
And the style choice where it's all crazy action, and then at some point it's like we're kind of being transported in her like demented mind, her
Yeah,
cartoonish
the
world, where all of
the
a sudden
music
there's like,
shifts, and then suddenly, instead of blood squirting everywhere, you just see flowers and butterflies and
yeah,
shit.
animated birds like flying around and tweeting at her and everything. It's like the whole world goes into Toontown, and that's her warped mind as she's just mowing down like
She's
countless
just
soldiers running down this
murdering.
hallway. Yeah, with like two fucking M16s like side by side. Uh, yeah,
Look like
uh,
Scourge at that moment.
yeah. And I did appreciate, even though they didn't keep Flula alive, he at least passed on his javelin.
Oh
And the whole
yeah.
movie she's carrying it around. Oh no, she lost it at some point. The army took it away, and she finds it in that hallway, and that's when she reclaims it, and then eventually she's uh
I hope
uses
she
it to,
keeps it. I hope she keeps it and uses it again.
yeah. And that brilliant moment again, like you start to get the feel good camaraderie moments, like much like Guardians, James Gunn writing and everything, when Flag, who's one of the only other members to return from the previous Suicide Squad movie, because again, this isn't exactly a reboot, this is kind of a sequel. They brought back Captain Boomerang, which of course is one of the sacrificial lambs at the very beginning of the movie, Jai Courtney, which again I was bummed about. He's a lot of fun. And other than that, it's just Flag and Harley. And so they're kind of buddies because they've been on an adventure together. And he's the one who's adamant, like, no, before we go, attack or blow up the base or whatever, we have to go save my friend. And she comes out from her murderous rampage. She escaped herself. And she just sees them, like, Idris Elba is like repelling
Scaling a wall.
or scaling a wall and everything, and Flag is down there and just walks up like, hey, what are you guys up to? and then he's, oh, we're coming to rescue you. And she is so moved, she's like moved to tears, like, what, you came to rescue me? Like, really, me? He's like, yeah, it came up like a pretty damn good plan too. She's like, well, I can go back inside and you can still do it. And just gives her this huge hug and everything. What's with the javelin? I'm waiting for God to tell me what it's for.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, him too.
Yeah, him too. Yeah, whoever. Yeah,
any of them.
Yeah. And then eventually we get to the big fucking starfish kaiju, which is to comic readers will know is Starro the Conqueror. Is it the name?
I think so. I'm not familiar with the DC side, but
some alien starfish from space, basically. And
I mean, in general, like it's very creepy and comic booky, and it's a great kaiju. It's just, it's so comical looking that it just it kind of takes away from it.
Well, I think what worked for me, I mean, Meg mentioned, in her review that it was too silly for her, or it was a bit much. For me, what sold it is all the build up to it, because they're walking through that creepy ass hallway of all the fucking body snatchered people that it's controlling, and you got everybody in different stages of decay. There's just a bunch of people like under its control with the little baby starfishes sucking on their faces, and they're just like moaning and screaming and whatever, clawing at the walls. And then you've got that more laboratory environment where some of them are strapped down. There's one that's been experimented on where it's been ripped off the dude's face, and so his face is just halfway disintegrated, but he's still moving and flapping the jaws and shit, and the starfish
the tendrils are still connected to his face.
Yeah, all of that fucking body horror shit. That's what sold it for me. So by the time you get to this, Godzilla level starfish thing, even though it's bright pinks and blues and yellows and shit, it's still, it sells it that this thing is fucking horrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. and then it goes just like walking through buildings like an entire city like with ease. So yeah, that works. um but yeah, it's I don't know what else to say. I'm just kind of bouncing around all over the place here. um
I would give it a overall. I would give it a solid B plus.
yeah,
Like
yeah, I mean,
it's not my favorite superhero movie, and it's probably the top three DC movies. I
yeah,
don't
for
know.
sure. I would call that for sure. um yeah, not perfect, but just a lot of fun. And the main thing that deterred me in the beginning was the whole, the big shocky twist of the first team gets annihilated.
Yeah,
uh
I knew
but
that was gonna happen. I
yeah,
knew everybody that was a star outside of Margot Robbie is gonna die.
yeah. Oh, Meg said the one thing that she did appreciate in those beginning moments, one of the few things that she really got her, was when
Killing Pete Davidson, because that's a bonus in my book.
his face just disintegrates. No, oh, I'm blanking on his fucking name. Yondu, Michael Rooker.
Oh, Michael Rooker, yeah.
When he bites it, because he's fleeing, he runs like he's just, and he runs swimming for his life. And of course, um, Amanda Walker just warns him like, no, don't go off mission. Blah, blah, you turn right back around. Blah, blah, blah. And she hits the button and blows his fucking skull away. And the blood blast turns into the Warner Brothers logo. Meg
Yeah,
really
that was pretty
appreciated
good.
that. Yeah.
I loved the weasel. Was it the weasel?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Did anybody check to see if the weasel could swim? That was brilliant.
Yeah. I did like all of the so in this one, Amanda Walker, I believe is her name.
Waller.
Waller, sorry. Amanda Waller. Um even more villainous of a turn in this one. Like we always like she's always been played as a hard ass and does
Yeah,
whatever to get what she needs.
she was a bitch this time.
But yeah, you got all those awesome interactions with her and Steve Agee, who is the main tech guy, monitoring the situation and everything. And even he, like from the opening moments when she convinces, um, God, this is the one character I can't remember his name, so I just could call him Idris Elba. The whole bit about threatening him with his, locking up his daughter in a place where she'll probably die in jail and everything, like really fucked up shit. Like you get those moments of Steve Agee like turn around like fuck, and then at some point he actually does after it's repeated multiple times, like need I remind you, blah blah blah, your daughter's in line. It's like you're just saying that, right? You wouldn't really blah blah blah, and and it's the buildup of her team going rogue against her was played out very well. Like you in those final moments where it's revealed that her whole reasoning for sending them in was to destroy the evidence that the U.S. had anything to do with that Project Starfish business. It's really all just to cover their own ass, and which leads to flag dying and them. She essentially she's like, well, the evidence is destroyed, so mission over. Like, come on back. Meanwhile, the fucking starfish is annihilating a city full of people, and she's telling them to walk away, and then they make the moral choice like, no, fuck this shit, like let's go do whatever we can. And she's even at that point saying like, no, you're off mission, like get the fuck back here. And she's about to blow all of their heads off. And at that point I didn't see it coming. I was like, fuck, how are they going to get out of this? And it's her own team that swats her own fucking golf club at her,
Mm-hmm.
which was a awesome payoff moment. It's like, yes, fuck her. Yeah. So yeah, good times. Um, that's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, we pretty much covered it. I
All
enjoyed
right.
it.
Good times for James Gunn's Suicide Squad. There was a little headline I saw just a few hours ago, a little interview, snippet of an interview with the president of DC Films, who made it very clear, like, oh yeah, we want James Gunn back as soon as possible. Like they're they're very pleased with what he did with the movie. And what was it? DC Films president Walter Hamada said Gunn is always welcome back, whatever he wants to do. He really has a vision and he's a great partner with us. Whenever he wants to come back, we're ready for him. And then he went on, like he paused a moment and he said, he'll be back. We have more stuff planned.
I say give him creative control. Give him creative control of the DC universe.
Hand him the keys. Sure,
Yeah.
why not? I'm
He'll
down.
be the next Kevin Feige.
There you go. Why not?
You got nothing else to lose at this point. The rest of your films are bombing. Like even Wonder Woman, if a film that you could have mailed it in and did wildly successful with, you fucking bombed.
Yeah. Well, did it just critically bomb? Did it still make a fuckload of money? I mean, well, for pandemic times money.
For pandemic times, it made a lot of money, but like considering what it was supposed to do and how critically well and fan received well the first film did, it should have done well.
Yeah. Okay.
But like there was multiple things in there that turned a lot of people off. Particularly the fucking Wonder Woman raping a dude.
That yeah,
that's a bit problematic.
Arguably, you can look at a lot of sci-fi fantasy movies, and if you look too hard, if you think too hard about it and take it too literal, you can say that about a shitload of properties. Like,
yeah, but not too many people have a global hero icon that people can look up to raping a dude.
hey, she's a strong, independent Wonder Woman, and what's a fucking rape a dude? I guess that's what she's gonna do. Well, moving on. Hey, speaking of handing keys to the kingdom, Disneyland, the Magic Kingdom, has announced its new its replacement for the annual pass holder program. They did away with that in COVID times because it was like, well, we can't keep forcing people to pay for not coming to a shutdown park. So they kind of did away with it and kind of said like, well, we'll come up with something new, when things.
They wanted to get rid of it a long time ago. It was not value for Disney. It was actually a decent value for the pass holders.
Well, they've I guess they've revamped it or they've rebranded it, and now they're calling it the Magic Key program. And it's essentially a very similar program. They just, changed up the prices and exactly what they're offering.
Prices a lot.
Yeah.
Restricted what you can go to.
Yeah. So starting August 25th is when this new thing launches. You can order your annual passes if you want. So it's 4 tiers. The Imagine Key, is the lowest one. That's $399 for the year. $400 basically for the year. Yeah, that's the lowest tier. And you get everything is still reservation based admission, which is what they launched once the park reopened. We're still in the fucking pandemic, but since the parks have reopened, it's all been in order to control the crowds, reservation based admission. So you have to reserve in advance, go in for the day to one or both of the parks, Disneyland and California Adventure. So with these Imagine Key passes, you still have to reserve to go. For the lowest tier, $400. This is actually available to SoCal residents only. You can hold up to 2 days, like 2 reservations at a time. So if you have 2, that's it. That's all you can book. You use up one, then you can select another day, et cetera, et cetera. And like the old pass holder programs, you get 10% off select merchandise and food and drinks. And then everything above that is a similar iteration of this, just with a little bit more freedom. So the Enchant Key, which is $650.
Jesus.
Yeah. Next level up. Same deal, reservations, but you can hold up to 4 at a time. Same deal with the merchandise and food, 10% off. Above that is the Believe key for, you want to guess how much?
I'm gonna say 1,000.
950.
950. Jesus.
And you can hold up to 6 reservations at a time. 10% off of food and drinks, and half off of parking. So 50% off parking. I have no idea what parking is now.
Probably like 40 to 60 bucks, I'd
Yeah.
imagine.
Jeez. And then last but not least, top tier is the Dream Key. And that is $1,400 for the year.
Christ.
Yep. And same 6 reservations at a time. 20% off merchandise, 15% off food and beverage, and parking included. And also, just like the old pass holder tiers, under the old program, there's blockout dates. So if you're getting the lowest tier one, you only get a certain amount of dates to choose from. Each level up, you get more and more. Unless you're top tier, you get the entire year to choose from. So, yeah.
Speaking of other Disney gigantic pricings, did you see the new hotel they're opening up in Orlando?
Is this the Star Wars one?
Yes. So it's the Star Wars themed, I think Star Cruiser is the name of the hotel,
Mm-hmm.
where basically every room is kitted out like you're on a Star Wars spaceship. All the windows are LED screens where they basically show space and have generic Star Wars stuff going on. The entire hotel is themed Star Wars. Have you seen the pricing list of this yet?
I have not, but I heard it was ridiculous.
So, for a 2-night stay, can you guess like the general ballpark of where you're looking at the bottom tier? There's like 3 tiers.
I'm gonna say $1,000 a night, or for what is it? 2 nights, 2 night package.
2-night package. You're gonna have to go up.
Shit. 2,000
For the bottom tier, it's like 4 grand.
for one person.
No, it's double occupancy, I believe.
Okay, so for one couple, uh,
One couple or a family. I think they fit up to 4 people.
so bottom tier. So the cheapest room, the shittiest room that you can get on this Star Cruiser, 4 grand for 2 nights.
Yes.
Fuck me.
And people will pay that because it's Star Wars themed.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be a whole experience. So you go in there and people are treating you like you're
Star Wars.
the world of Star Wars. Yeah, like
You have people in costume, like all of the butler, the bellhops and the maids and all the people that work there are in costume, Star Wars looking, and like all the hallways are all Star Warsed out. You can have in-room experiences with Star Wars stuff going on on there. So like it's a thing. I can't believe I'm actually considering it, but no, I'd never pay that fucking much.
you got to pay 4 grand to go sit in the Star Cruiser lounge and have some like pimply faced freshman college students serving you blue milk. Sir, would you like a refill on your blue milk? May the force be with you. uh,
That's
ridiculous.
fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, rich people, tourists will pay it. Yeah.
Not even necessarily rich people. Like diehard Star Wars fans will save up, and that will be their expense for the next 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. Yeah. Is that yeah, I mean, I understand what they're going for. Like you're gonna be on a Star Cruiser going through space, and so you've got like the cabin windows are just like props with LED lights and everything. It feels kind of claustrophobic. Like I don't know. To me, I feel like I would almost be happier with like Fifth Element, the Floston Paradise, the Starship Hotel thing in there where the diva sings and everything. Like I think they were like in low orbit, so you still got to see like an awesome like sunset and the clouds and stuff. Like I think that would feel more, I don't know, just seeing like a black box of LED lights as your cabin window. That just feels really claustrophobic to me.
I mean, it looks more of the. It looks like a slightly larger cruise ship room to me,
All right.
and it doesn't seem too bad, like the visuals, but I don't know. It's still a bit much for me.
That's a bit much. Yeah. I don't know. Then again, you know, that you're in your mid 30s, Todd. That Margaritaville life is a calling. I think it's kind of mandatory that you go on ridiculous stuff like this and cruises and things where people are wearing big hats and sandals and and Hawaiian shirts.
See, this is the exact opposite. The Margaritaville life is living life on the cheap and just sitting on a beach doing nothing. This is spending a good chunk of change.
That's true. Yeah. Oh man. Well, speaking of spending a big chunk of change, next headline, big news this week for Trey Parker and Matt Stone,
Oh, Jesus.
creators of South Park, have signed a not one, not two, not three, four, five, six, seven, eight, a $900 million deal with
It includes 6 new seasons of South Park and 14 fucking movies.
yeah. So under Viacom CBS, who, you know, own like half the world. So that keeps them on the air on Comedy Central for 6 more seasons. So that's running through 2027. And God, that feels space age right there. 2027 is a mere 6 years away. And also under Paramount Plus, the 14 direct to exclusive for Paramount Plus streaming exclusively there, the 14 movies, which I think they said are actually going to focus on other side characters. There'll be their own little side adventures, new characters, new stories away from the main 4 kids.
I feel they'll be like short films and it's you're not going to see like a South Park bigger, longer, uncut every other year.
Right. Yeah, that'd be insane. Which is cool. That's a good way to keep it fresh. From the guys who did the 6 Days to Air documentary, like that was already what, 10 years ago, maybe?
Something like that.
And even then they were like, yeah, every year we feel like we're gonna fucking quit. Like this is like it's so stressful. Like this is the last year. And then they've kept going and going and going. Now they're just like, well, we're just gonna do this forever. We're gonna do this till we drop dead.
Do we know if they still do 6 Days to Air or did they space it out a little bit more? Because I know their stuff is still like relevant. Like it's still relevant to whatever is going on at the time.
Yeah. I got to imagine they planned stuff out a bit more once they got into the 2016 election. I think once they were leading up because they were
with Mr. Garrison.
Yeah, I think they planned. That was when they were planning more like season-long arcs, and they were still like touching things up on the fly because
there's the famous story of them having to completely remake the episode when
Trump
who
won.
shall not be now named won.
Yeah, they couldn't believe it, so they had to redo their whole fucking story, or like, you know, pivot. Yeah. On top of that, in this news, apparently there is another video game in the works. Not no real word on what it's going to focus on specifically. It's going to be if it's going to be similar to the previous 2 RPGs or if it's going to be something new. And also non-South Park related. I guess they can't sit still. Trey Parker and Matt Stone, they're working on a new musical, a new stage musical, which
It'll
would be
Orgasmo the musical.
Yeah. That would be their first trip back to Broadway or to the stage since Book of Mormon, which I have seen twice over the years. It is fan-fucking-tastic. If you ever get a chance, go watch it. uh, but yeah, that's crazy. $900 million. They don't have to do that.
No.
They're doing it. Yeah. In other fun news, well, for me, because I've been waiting for this a long damn time. Why the Last Man, the TV series based on the legendary Brian K. Vaughan comic series, is finally here. We got a little teaser, I think, within the last month, which was didn't show any footage. It was just like titles and showing like describing the apocalyptic event that happens. And just this past week, we got an official trailer with actual footage from the show, the official season 1 trailer. Todd, you said you've never read the comics, right?
Never read the comics at all.
Okay,
The only exposure I have to it is you and David talking about it.
okay. So yeah, you heard us talking about it. So it's this for those not familiar with it. Brian K. Vaughan and Pia Guerra created Why the Last Man, a series that I forget when it started, but it ended. The end of the series was freaking 13 years ago now. So it follows the very beginning is an apocalyptic event which effectively eliminates there's actually a log line from the show here. It'll explain it better than I will. So I'm just going to read this. Based on DC Comics acclaimed series by Brian K. Vaughan and Pia Guerra, Why the Last Man traverses a post-apocalyptic world in which a cataclysmic event decimates every mammal with a Y chromosome. So not just people, every mammal on the planet with a Y chromosome, but for one cisgender man and his pet monkey.
Oh wow. So that means like all like stock and breeding animals and like food is done.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
forced veganism.
Yeah, pretty much. Series follows the survivors in this new world as they struggle with their efforts to restore what was lost and the opportunity to build something better.
Guess they're gonna have to learn to like monkey burgers later on.
So but yeah, you catch glimpses of it in the trailer. It looks like a fully CG monkey, which from the quick glimpses of it you see, seems like, okay, that's clearly CG, but it looks good enough that it works. We'll see how it plays out. But yeah, we've got the cast includes at the lead man, Yorick Brown, Ben Schnetzer. I am not familiar with him, but apparently he was in the Warcraft movie. I don't know, maybe he was a fucking orc in that movie for all I know. Ashley Romans, who was in that Nosferatu show recently as Agent 355. Olivia Thirlby, who was in Dread as Yorick's sister, and Diane Lane, the only name I really recognize, as President Jennifer Brown, who happens to be the lead character's mother. FX made it a point to show that it's the very woman-centric production. First 2 episodes, the entire first season helmed by women directors, and in a variety piece back in October last year, FX was noting that most of the departments of the show are female. The directors of photography, production designer, costume designer, casting director, editors, stunt coordinators. Well,
when 99% of your cast is female, then your production should be also female.
Yeah, so that's pretty rad. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this. I was talking to you earlier in the week, Todd, about this because this is like you said, you're not familiar with the comic other than you've heard other people babbling about it, but one of those big ones that people have been waiting for forever. Like, to me, this is like Half-Life 3 confirmed that this shit is actually happening. Like, and I was telling you the other day, like the history of this show trying to get made, this adaptation, like it's nuts. Like in development and abandoned, in development again and abandoned again, in development, in pre-production, and then they wiped out. They they scrapped the entire creative team. They replaced them all. They're like, nope, this isn't working. Like, we're going a different direction. And now, finally, like 13 years after the comic ended, the show is actually coming to air. It's crazy.
Nice. I'm excited for you to finally be getting to watch it, and it actually looked good to me as somebody who knows nothing about it. Like, it looked interesting. The breakdown of society is always something that I'm interested in. Any show that shows a breakdown of society is right up my genre alley. So
Yeah. We've experienced so many post apocalypses at this point, but this is one. This is a pretty unique take.
yeah,
So it'll be interesting to see how they show, everybody coping and trying to make the world still run.
there was a scene in there that they showed. They said like within 10 hours the power will shut off. And
yeah,
the
nuclear
president's
power
like,
plant.
what city? What where are you talking about? And then the lady's like, everywhere.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be good. I think it's
Yeah.
gonna be good. FX served me well with the show that you refused to watch because of eye worms, The Strain.
FX has a history though. I think it flies under the radar. It puts out a lot of quality content. Like it had
Yeah.
Nip Tuck, it had The Shield, it has Archer. Well, had Archer. Uh, it's put out a lot of quality content and sort of gone under the radar,
Yeah, for
under
sure.
the Fox umbrella.
Yeah. What did you call it the other day? You said they're like AMC light,
Yeah,
something like that.
underground AMC.
Underground AMC, yeah. AMC After Dark. uh, oh, hey, speaking of Half-Life, actually, I saw a headline earlier. There is a Half-Life 2 remastered collection coming. Not an official one. It's
Unofficial.
coming, yeah, unofficial, coming from modders. However, apparently with Valve's consent, with Valve's blessing. So
Yeah, there was some like database digging or something like that there's no confirmation that it's got Valve's consent, but it's going to be listed on the Steam store, so that's sort of unofficial confirmation.
okay.
And again, the Steam store will put fucking anything on there. There's so many fucking porn and anime games on there that you can't even tell anymore what's what.
I've seen those occasionally. I've looked at the pages. I'm like, it seems like a lot of work to get your rocks off. Like you could just go to Pornhub.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's straight up porn games and they sell a fuck ton. That's why Steam doesn't regulate them, is they actually sell a fuck ton.
that they do. It's like it'd be funny if there was like a market sheet or like sales sheet of just like all the returns coming in for the quarter, and it's just like all the sex games are like way the fuck up here above anything else.
Like you have the indie titles, you have the okay titles, you have the AAA titles, then you have the porn games.
Yeah. And it's just like all the sales. It's how like how Valve and Steam really stay afloat. That's the dirty secret.
How do you think they're funding the Steam Deck? That they're
Yeah.
saying that that's going to come at a loss profit wise.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the hardware in it is higher cost than the price point.
Yeah. Well, even I just saw reports recently that the PS5, Sony did the same thing, and it's just only within the last couple weeks that they are now not at a loss.
I believe it.
Uh, I mean, they're barely getting them fucking out. Like they're still like nowhere to be found. If they're you have to just go on eBay and see like, oh, some asshole's selling it for 1,000.
That was the same thing that happened with the Steam Decks. Is like the pre-orders. Like if you had an account that had a pre-order on it that was this year, they were selling for like $1,500.
Jeez, that's nuts.
That's not even the actual device. That was just an account with the pre-order, not even a guaranteed device on. Ugh, it was ridiculous.
There. Anyway, what do I
I,
care? I'll get around to the PS5 when the PS6 is announced.
and I'm getting my Steam Deck sometime late next year after they've
Yeah,
already been out and everybody loves them and is done with them.
there you go. All right. Moving on. We still got a lot of headlines here.
Yeah, let's do some rapid fire if you can.
Yeah, the boys. The boys, sweet, insane superhero slash super villain times. There are reports. I don't think it's officially announced, but there's supposedly insider reports that they picked up an early season 4 green light. So
I believe it.
yeah, I guess everybody's excited because that means if they got the early green light, they can just roll right in once they're done working on season 3. They can start production on season 4.
Venom and Let
Ryan.
There Be Carnage had their second official trailer,
Oh,
and it
really?
looks bonkers. I still haven't seen the first one yet.
No,
No.
it was surprisingly fun. It's definitely a Fox superhero movie. It doesn't have that Feige touch to it, the magic touch to it, but it was solid fun. It was solid fun. I recommend it. Meg liked it, who gets pretty winded of superhero fare these days. So if it's Meg approved, then
Got Tom Hardy in it. I mean, she's gonna naturally like it.
that too. That's of course, yeah. In one of the few roles where his face is not covered the entire movie. I mean, except when he does go into Venom mode, but Ryan Reynolds gave a Deadpool 3 update saying they're really hammering the script into good shape. He gave it a 70% chance that they're going to start filming next year. So still a ways out, but they're pounding away at it.
And we want him to enter the MCU correctly. We don't want to just half-ass it.
Right. No, it's Ryan Reynolds doing Deadpool. He's going to give the whole ass.
Yes.
The whole ass. You can guarantee that. Guaranteed.
Chronicle apparently is getting a sequel, a proto superhero film. It's the found footage film with the kids that become superheroes.
Right. I didn't see it, but I heard okay reviews.
It was good.
Okay.
I'm not normally a found footage like type film kind of guy. I never liked Blair Witch. I didn't like Cloverfield.
Mm-hmm.
That never really held, but this one was actually pretty good.
Okay.
I liked Chronicle.
Okay. All right. Hey Todd, remember when Byron was on the show and we used to talk Trek every 2 minutes?
Yeah.
We haven't talked Trek in a while. It occurred to me when I saw this headline this week. So here's some Byron, if you're still listening to the show, here's some Star Trek for you. If to all the Star Trek fans out there, if you are a fan of the current direction of Trek, you're in for a treat because it was reported that another big Hollywood deal, Alex Kurtzman, who has been kind of helming the entire franchise for some time now.
He's the Trek Kevin Feige at the moment.
Right, yeah. So he reportedly closed a 9-figure deal. I think it was one of the websites is estimating it's probably around the 150 million range, that he is going to continue being the Feige of Trek for at least the next 6 years, including being involved in everything in development. They did mention the Section 31 show that's kind of been off the radar for a while. It is still in the works.
That's the only announced show that's not in production yet.
Yeah. Along with continuing Discovery, Picard, Lower Decks, Prodigy, and Strange New Worlds.
And there's a new rumor saying that there's going to be a Picard-like treatment for Janeway.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't hear about that one. I heard about the Starfleet Academy show in development.
Yeah, I think was that announced already, or is that still rumors? Because that's been rumored for a couple of weeks now.
I think they did officially announce it.
Yeah, so the Janeway thing is still under rumors, and it's still like far out.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was part of the interview with Kurtzman. He did say that he was overseeing 2 more original shows. One was, again, mentioning that Section 31 was still in the works, and officially saying, yes, the Starfleet Academy show. So yeah. Yep. We are just a few days away from Marvel's What If series.
Nice.
And I don't know if you
Cannot
saw it.
wait.
It looks like Haley Atwell's Peggy Carter. They are making the centerpiece of this show. I think the first
Deservedly
episode.
so.
Absolutely, yeah. We need more Peggy Carter,
And
which
Haley Atwell.
and Haley Atwell, yes. So she is, of course, returning to voice the character in the animated version, and
Shit,
she is
bring her back in the live action multiverse.
absolutely. Well, there's rumors of that now since they're making such a focus of her in animated form. And it was one of the showrunners or somebody involved was saying that they already said that they're looking forward to more of the animated adventures with her. They're already, because season 1 is in the can. It's being released, and they're already hinting at or talking about hopefully to bring her back for more in season 2.
Yeah, didn't they confirm a season 2 already?
I think so. Yeah. 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 But yeah, there's a
That
big
means
focus
basically
on her being the face of the thing. So
the only show that hasn't gotten a confirmed continuation is WandaVision, because Cap
yeah,
Captain Story will continue in 4. What If is getting a second season. Loki is getting a second season.
yeah. So yeah,
So WandaVision is the only thing. I mean, we're going to see her character in Doctor Strange, but
yeah. I think that's. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
she's not getting her own standalone like continuation.
No, no. But I got a hunch that'll be the main focus of Strange too. So I mean, yeah,
Well, we
just
all
like
figured she was going to be the Nexus event that launched the multiverse, when we know now it's Loki.
Loki beat her to it, or respectfully, Sylvie beat her to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of that stuff, there was a headline apparently that there was one of the writers of the What If show. They were talking about when they were pitching ideas for storylines, and the head writer of the show was actually, he got one of his storylines that he was really proud of. It was going to be about the Watchers of the MCU, or the Marvel universe, and he didn't say specifics. He couldn't say specifics, but it was rejected. The idea was rejected outright after he did all this work on it. He was really proud of it and took it to the office. And they're like, "Yeah, you can't do that because you're kind of stepping on Guardians 3's toes." Like,
Yeah, that's one of their prime rules, is the What If show could not cover anything that's planned upcoming in any of the films.
yeah. So I guess we'll get something about the Watchers in Guardians 3.
Makes
Um,
sense. Guardians is definitely Watcher's territory.
yeah. There was another rumor going around that Sharon Carter, aka the Power Broker, played by Emily Van Camp, will be back in Moon Knight with Oscar Isaac.
Oh, yes, yes, please.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully I think she is doing something with Val. I think her and Val were the ones that were talking on the phone.
That would make sense. Yeah. Two shady characters always talking on a phone to some mysterious party. So, yeah. And last in the Marvel news that I have, this brought a smile to my face. Another fan favorite MCU character may make a return in or around the time we see Thor: Love and Thunder. So there was an interview with a producer who worked along with Taika on. Do you remember the short films that Taika
Yep.
did with Thor and his roommate?
Yep.
Yeah, Daryl. Yeah. So I think they did 3 of those. They did, the first one happened after, right around Civil War, and it was Thor with a roommate in Australia. I forget, Australia, New Zealand. But he's just kind of hanging out because he's like, well, yeah, I know, Stark and Rogers. Yeah, they're having a bit of a, little, argument, disagreement right now. I've been waiting for a call, but I haven't heard from anybody. He's just like all bummed out that nobody's including him.
And it's the joke that he doesn't actually have a phone.
Yeah, yeah. Send a raven. Yeah.
Could have emailed.
Yeah. So he's just hanging out with his roommate and just like living the life. And then later, I think it was after Civil War came out, maybe right before Ragnarok, we catch up with him again, and he's still hanging out with Daryl, and he's just like bugging the crap out of him. Like Daryl's trying to like convince him, like, you need a job, you need to pay rent. And then the third one after Ragnarok was Team Daryl, where Daryl ended up with a new roommate. The what was Jeff Goldblum's character's name? The
Collector. No, he wasn't the
no.
collector. That was Benicio del Toro. Fuck.
The Grandmaster. The
Grandmaster.
Yeah. Yeah. So in this interview, this producer, Brad Winderbaum, who was producing those shorts along with Thor Ragnarok, along with Taika, there's an interview with him, and the interviewer asked if they might be doing another short. They didn't say specifically, are you doing another like roommate thing? But he finished the sentence for him. He's like, are you talking about Daryl? They're like, yeah. Are we going to see more Daryl? He's like, are you want to see more Daryl? And so he very like excitedly said, well, you might maybe get to see more Daryl. It's possible. Yeah. So that'd be fun.
Gonna move from Australia to New Asgard.
There you go. Oh, that'd be awesome. Maybe Daryl helps him get back in Thor's fighting shape.
There you go.
That'd be rad. That'd be rad if they just have him like in the beginning of Thor: Love and Thunder. So like if you're in the know and you've seen the shorts before, you're like, oh my god, it's Daryl. And if not, then it's just like, oh, weird. He has a weird roommate.
He has a weird roommate that nobody recognized that has a speaking role. What?
Yeah, just an average Joe. Yeah. And another little bit in Taika news, Leslie Jones has joined.
By the way, before Taika's cameo in Suicide Squad was amazing.
That was wonderful. He had the crazy hair and everything, and when you first see like the flashback to the Ratcatcher, Ratcatcher 2's dad, I think it was just kind of like an overlay on the scene, so you don't get quite a good glimpse of him. You just see kind of like this flashy off to the side memory of him. And with the crazy hair, I was like, is that Wayne Coyne from the Flaming Lips? I was so convinced it was him, and I tried to look up like cast, is that him in there? And then at the end of the movie,
when you actually see him a profile shot of him talking with his daughter.
Yeah, and that touching moment where he tells her, where she asks, like, why rats, Dad? And he said, like, oh, they're like the lowliest, most despised creatures. And if they have a purpose, so do we all. That was wonderful. But yeah, you see it's totally Taika. Yeah. But yes, Leslie Jones has joined his HBO Max pirate comedy show, Our Flag Means Death. That's it. That's all you need to hear. It's HBO Taika pirate comedy show. That's it. I'm in.
Yeah, sold.
Yep.
Don't even have to say any of the cast. I'm in. I'm sold. I'm down.
100%. And then you get to the cast. It's Leslie Jones, Rhys Darby, and Taika himself playing Blackbeard. Yeah. So yeah. Also in HBO Max news, this was interesting to me. Did you hear about this Batman the Audio Adventures?
I did not.
So I'm a little confused here. HBO Max there's this big announcement saying that they're pushing into podcasts. One of which, the big ones they're announcing is, I guess, a Batman adventure, I guess like a radio play, like kind of, which a lot of people are doing in podcast form now. Batman Audio Adventures, starring Jeffrey Wright as Batman, Rosario Dawson as Catwoman.
Sold. I'm in. Let's go.
Yep. And John Leguizamo as the Riddler.
Sold. Yep. I'm in. Let's go.
Absolutely. Yes. It's so crazy. I was like, oh my God, John Leguizamo. Like, I haven't heard about him in ages. And we were just talking about him.
John Wick.
John Wick. Oh yeah. He was the body
mechanic.
shop owner. Yeah. Mechanic. Yeah. But then I was confused. It says the Audio Adventures, Batman the Audio Adventures will be released exclusively on HBO Max in the fall. But I'm like, wait, it's a podcast. But you're gonna have to listen to it through the HBO Max like app through the TV. I don't know. Strange, but oh, we'll see.
Eh,
Yeah. Maybe
in
they'll,
go ahead.
I was saying maybe, yeah, maybe they'll do that just to keep it exclusive. And if you watch it on your TV, then they'll just have like artwork in the background or something. I don't know. But
In other weird random news, casting for the Tim Burton Netflix Addams Family has
yes.
released.
Uh-huh.
They've got their Gomez,
Yes.
Luis Guzman.
I'm in.
Fucking perfect.
Yes. That makes me happy
He
that
can schmooze the pants off of anybody.
oh, absolutely. Yeah. Not as not as sleek uh face as Raul Julia.
No, who
Um
can be?
yeah, I can't have another Raul Julia. But yeah, Luis Guzman. That sounds like a bunch of fun. And I was always a bit iffy on this show, but that's really starting to sell me. It's just funny because I'm looking at an article on Collider and they put a graphic of him in like the striped suit and everything like Gomez, but it's his face there. And all I can think is the movie Waiting.
Yes,
He,
that's
he
the
just,
only movie I remember. I put anytime Luis Guzman comes up, I
yeah.
just see waiting every time.
Yeah, he's been in a bunch of shit. He's a great actor. He's a SAG award-winning actor. He was in Traffic, a bunch of shit. But I see his face and I'm just thinking, oh, the brain, the brain.
The brain, the Batwing.
Yeah. Oh God. Now I want to watch
Uh,
Waiting. It's been a long time.
I
Uh,
recently rewatched it. Still holds up.
okay, good.
It's a good film for anybody that's worked in the service industry. I know the restaurant industry like gravitates it more, but if you've ever worked in the service industry in general, like
Uh-huh.
Waiting is a classic film.
Yep. Absolutely. Um, yeah, I wondered for a second after I saw that headline, I was like, oh man, I watched Waiting again. I was worried, like, is that one of those that at that time, like, college age, that I found that was like the greatest movie ever? Like, am I gonna go back now and go, oh man, that's so dumb and juvenile? And like, I
Oh,
get why I liked it then, but do I like it now? I don't know.
it's still dumb and juvenile, but it's still
Yeah.
great.
Yeah. I mean, that was the height of Dane Cook's powers. Let's put
Oh
it there,
God.
him and Ryan Reynolds and fucking oh
He was
man.
Dane Cook was barely even in this, and I think no his it was his he did this right before Employee of the Month.
Yeah.
I think that was his attempt to become a starring man.
Yeah. I think he filmed it. I think he filmed it prior, and then I think in between filming it and the release of the movie, that was right about when whatever his like big smash hit comedy album came out, and then Dane Cook was fucking everywhere. And then so like the poster for them, even though he's like the cook in the back and he has a couple little funny moments, but he's barely in it. Like Ryan Reynolds is the big guy in it. Justin Long, yeah, like is
Yeah,
like the
Justin
main
Long.
character. But
Hello?
you look at like
My internet
the
connection has died.
uh-oh. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Good. Okay.
Yay, charter internet.
Yeah. But yeah, so like Ryan Reynolds and Justin Long, like they're the main like two guys. And it's an ensemble cast and they all have like good moments, but mainly like the heart of the story focuses around Justin Long and Ryan Reynolds being his best buddy. But Dane Cook was like all over the marketing, like on the poster, on the DVD and everything, because the studio knew like, oh, this guy is the big star right now. So like inject him into every image you possibly can. Yeah. Anyway. And my last little bit of TV or movie news, The Bad Batch. Bad Batch got officially renewed for season 2 coming next year. I have not watched the second to the last episode. This is
So good.
because you said
I,
this is kind of like a 2-part season finale, right?
yeah, two-part season finale.
So this past
I,
Friday and then this coming Friday.
I got to admit, I was never really a huge prequel guy. The prequel films didn't really do it for me.
Mhm.
Like when I was younger, like I was kind of into episode one when it came out because I was at that age where episode one was still pretty good. And then episode two came out and I kind of like was disenfranchised with it. And then episode three was also meh to me.
Yeah.
So I was never really the prequel fan. Like they're like the prequels have had a resurgence in the last 4 or 5 years of people like this. The tables have turned and people actually love the prequels now rather than my generation and hating it.
Yeah.
So I was never really like nostalgic for the prequels or really a big fan of them. But this one kind of hit for like giving the prequel era a sort of closure.
Okay.
I won't say any more than that.
Okay. Yeah. And the more that they've, I mean, it's we owe everything to Dave Filoni because I mean the way the Clone Wars wrapped up, the way the Bad Batch is carried on, it makes me give a shit about that era of Star Wars that I gave zero shits about before.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
For
this
sure.
this kind of starts wrapping it up,
Okay.
and we're
Cool.
we're we're firmly into the Empire years now. No longer the Clone Wars.
All right. And riding that nostalgia wave, last little bits here for the collector, for the collector people out there that spend all their money on toys that a part of me wants to but never does. There was a reveal for a very fancy Mandalorian era Luke Skywalker. Did you catch that?
Yep.
Yep.
I resisted pre-ordering it.
So there's two versions of this 1/6 scale, very well done Luke Skywalker from those closing more moments of The Mandalorian season two. There's a standard version with new head sculpt, Luke Skywalker in the Jedi cloak, LED light up green saber, base for him to stand on, a backdrop, and even little Grogu himself. And then there's also a deluxe version that includes all of that, plus a battle damaged Dark Trooper. Um,
I wanted that one so bad.
yeah, so you can find those for 285 and 330 for the deluxe edition.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a little out of my price range.
yeah, it's so damn pretty though.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, it really is.
I
Uh,
can justify spending 20, $30 every now and again on a fig that I really want,
mhm.
but for a display piece like that, I can't.
Yeah, that's a bit.
That's half the cost if I wanted to get a Super Star Destroyer, a Lego Super Star Destroyer.
Oh, that Lego one. Damn. Someday when I'm rich.
Someday it'll be mine.
Yeah.
That and the Hogwarts Castle. Like I'm not even big into Harry Potter. I just want to put that together.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Yeah. And one more in the toy line of nostalgia, Ghostbusters Afterlife, which I don't know if this technically spoils a little bit of the movie. I mean, you know it's going to happen, but there's a whole line of figures that were announced, and you can see images of them of the young new cast, and they're all the kids are in like official Ghostbusters gear and carrying the packs and everything, and the jumpsuits, and the OG crew, the surviving OG crew, you know, Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson, all in their old gear, like fully suited up. Bill Murray's got.
Why is Ernie Hudson the only one that's got a bit of a pot belly?
Does he?
At least the angle that of this figure, it
Oh
looks like he
yeah.
has a pot belly.
Oh, I can't really tell. Looks like they really slimmed out Dan Aykroyd. That's it's very generous of them. But yeah, and Bill Murray's got all the full head of gray hair. And yeah, so that looks fun. And that's all I got, Todd.
I'll bring it up since you didn't bring it up. I have hope that the Orville is coming soon, judging by some comments made by An executive from Hulu said
Oh
that
yeah.
not only is Orville coming sooner rather than later, but season 4 is still in the works.
Really?
Yes.
That makes me happy. It's just such a good show. I hope that this catches fire. That season 3, I hope their viewership just explodes
Well,
and
if
and proves
Hulu
that they're.
promotes it right, then I think it would, because I mean I think Hulu has a broader appeal now to most under 40s than a traditional like air date on like Fox or something.
Yeah. Yeah, that I was thinking about this a bit because I think I covered before, or we mentioned before that Meg and we caught up with Final Space, the animated big space opera, adventure, comedy, tragedy, whatever that I've been bragging about every time I get a chance to brag about it. But that's the baby of the original creator, Olin Rogers, who, pitched it and was able to sell it to. Well, at first I think it was a TBS, but then they got merged with somebody. I forget what it was, and then it started airing on Adult Swim for their second or third season. It's been through a lot of hoops in Hollywood, and I was actually listening to a podcast the other day I just discovered, where it was a long form interview with him and talking about what all the ups and downs of production, what went right, what went wrong, etc., and how even season 3 they like barely were able to turn in their work at the last second, and the finale wasn't quite what he wanted. And to this point, they haven't been renewed for a season 4, so they're in limbo. They have no idea if this is the end of it, and it ends on such a massive cliffhanger. It's like, God, that would suck. But it's like it's just he was going through this whole thing like this is his first. Olin Rogers, the creator, this is his first foray into Hollywood and television production, and it's been the last 5 years of his life just to create these 3 seasons, and it's just been like a nightmare the whole time. Like, it's been great, but him even talking with seasoned producers and executives, like is this normal, like going through all these hoops? And they're like, no, we're in uncharted waters here. Like, because they've been through mergers and all this crazy shit and executive notes. Like, at the last minute they're like, can we change the finale to this? And just, it sounds like basically the message is producing an original TV show is fucking hell. And you'll be lucky if you get to do half of the things that you want to do to tell your story. So I think about this now and I think of like, God, I hope Final Space gets renewed so they can finish telling what they wanted to tell. Orville, which is more of an episodic show, but they do have those arcs. But again, it's been through so much with COVID and delays and not being on Fox anymore, going to Hulu. And, it's like, I don't know, just a general feeling of, man, it sucks to, have this amazing thing, the amazing, story to tell, and just having to fight so much red tape and bullshit to just get it out there, Anyway, I don't know where I was going with that. I'm just rambling now at this point, but I did see there was a little thing about more Orville comics coming out though later this year. I think in October they're doing another run of stories there. So that's always nice with these sci-fi properties, especially like if management changes and they shit can the show or something. A lot of times now it's like, oh, we'll put it in another form. We'll put it into comics or continuing stories elsewhere. Yeah. Okay. That's my impassioned, nerdy speech for the night. We should get out of here. I think we're creeping up on 2 hours.
Oh yeah, I think we passed it.
Oh, fuck. All right. Thank you for joining, guys. This is Tony.
This Todd.
I hope you enjoyed another rambling 2 hours of geek headlines. There's some good ones this week. We covered Suicide Squad, Masters of the Universe, Revelation. If you haven't watched those already, well, then why are you listening to this episode? Because we just spoiled everything.
Spoiled the fuck out of them.
Yeah. Go, live your lives, run, go, play video games, stay young while you still can. Later, guys.
Bye.